Hello, good morning. Practice. Like this one. Hello. Hello. Morning. Like this.
Yes, tanawanin ba ito nag-online kami yan? 9 o'clock na. Sige.
Hello. Like this. Hello. Like this.
Di ba dalawa? Pwede daw, ma'am. Pwede sa iba. Pero wala sa laptop nila. May class kasi. Pwede daw, ma'am.
Hello, good morning.
Kyle, kailangan ako isa ka ano kay earphone. One more earphone. Earphone, please.
Hello, good morning.
Switch on your mouse. You're using computer for what?
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Hello. Like this.
Hello. Hello.
Sir, morning. Can you hear us, sir? Yes.
Maksudnya pas ay dari mana?
Dari
kemarin. Hello. Hello.
Hello, okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, I think we
Hello,
can.
Joe. Marinig ako, Joe.
Okay, I think we can start our today's session. And I would like to remind all the participants to make mute. Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all speakers and the participants. For beginning, we would like to welcome our honorable speakers and participants for our online global classroom on high impact writing in social science, which is very relevant to our duty as and role as researchers, lecturers, and postgraduate students. Online global classroom is a trend in new academia which has been accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemic that has become a catalyst to the changes in the field of education. Online global classroom is a virtual remote classroom that enables us to connect with students and lecturers who are living in different parts of the world to collaborate and share our knowledge, skills, and experience with one another. Our online global classroom will be divided into two parts. The first part is held today that mainly focus on providing tips and tricks on high impact publication, whereas the second part, that is the international webinar on social sciences and Islamic studies, which will be organized later in December. Our today's program is set among other things to open pathway to writing articles to be presented in the upcoming webinar, and the selected ones will be published in our Umran special issue. Hope all of us will kill and the hesitation and grab the opportunity. This online global classroom is the collaboration between Academy of Islamic Civilization, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, Mindanao State University General Santos City, the Philippines, and Universitas Islam Negeri Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang, Indonesia. I, on behalf of Academy of Islamic Civilization, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, would like to express our sincere thanks and appreciation to the Mindanao State University, General Santos City, and Universitas Islam Negeri Maulana Malik Ibrahim Malang for accepting our invitation and supporting our program. We hope the collaboration between the three universities will be successful and will continue for a long time to come with many more meaningful programs. I would like to thank the speakers and also participants for joining us today. It is our great pleasure to welcome all of you today to this online global classroom. Your participation and presence in this program is very significant to the success of this wonderful event. This is a 3 hours program, and the recorded version of this program will be available on the Facebook of Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities UTM. I would like to extend special thanks to the multimedia team from Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities for managing today's program. In this event, we have invited the experts from UTM to share their knowledge, expertise, and experience on high impact publication. I would like to introduce the distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Fauzi bin Abu-Hussin, Deputy Dean, Research, Innovation, Development and Alumni, Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, and Dr. Mansoureh Ebrahimi, Senior Lecturer at Academy of Islamic Civilization, UTM, and member of West Asia Civilization Research Group. She has written about Iran's culture, history, religious belief, and Malaysia halal industry, education and radicalism from the Islamic perspective. She also teaches STM, PhD, and philosophy of science and civilization. Her books include the British role in Iranian domestic politics, published by Springer Nature in 2016. She is also the editor of the book entitled The Middle East Arc of Crisis, Political Spin-off and Development Outcomes, published by UTM Press in 2018, and also the editor of The Dynamics of Iranian Issues of Contention, published by Springer Nature in 2019. She has also contributed in several articles on culture, religion, and history, including Malaysia, Middle East, Iran, Malaysia, and Turkey, to reputable peer-reviewed journals such as the British plot to remove Iran's democratically elected prime minister from power, published in 2015. So we believe and hope that this online global classroom will provide new insight in article writing. So without further ado, I would like to call upon Dr. Mansoureh Ebrahimi to deliver her talk entitled How to Publish in High Impact Journal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning and warmest greetings to every single of you from different parts of the world. First and foremost, let us thank God for his blessing that allows us to be together in an online session this morning. I'm so thrilled to be with you today. I hope and wish that all of you are well and healthy during the pandemic. I am Mansoureh Ebrahimi, and I'm here to present how to publish in a high-impact journal. An epistemological approach to the philosophy of publication is nowadays an obligatory challenge to all scholars. I would like to express my sincere appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Abdullah Nawi, Assistant Dean for External and Global Engagement at the Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, for invitation. Distinguished professors, eminent scholars, dear students, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this session. Next slide, please, Dr. Nakri. To publish in high-impact journals, you should know the following in order to achieve a basic 3-star level. First is how to write a scholarly paper. Second is how to find the best and most relevant journal for your paper. Last but not least is how to communicate with the editor of the journal, meaning how to get his or her approval. Hence, three keys are paper, author, editor, or publisher. Okay. The initial step to publication is that your paper should be interesting. This is your task. The question is, how is it done? An important point is to use updated data, current data or information. Before writing, research all relevant background in Web of Science and Scopus journals. Read up to get to know recently published information. Otherwise, your paper might become a collection of outdated data. So read as much as possible. You need also to demonstrate knowledge of the foundational background or historical context that provides the conceptual framework for your paper. With regards to new ideas and developments, always keep in mind that new ideas, new perspectives, and or access to recently disclosed primary sources in the archives or websites are required by high-impact journals. Furthermore, there is no end to improving one's writing skills. Of course, mostly in English, because we are competing with scholars from whom English is generally their mother tongue. So composition skills are the only way to transfer your ideas. Analysis is directly related to knowledge and how the author approaches his or her findings. Usually, we analyze data by including previous findings by other scholars in a discussion section of the paper. The focus on this discussion of the utmost importance because it contains and sustains your thesis. Such a discussion can include new analytical perspectives on your objectives or evidence that used to build a new theory or module or conceptual framework. Is related to issue raised in your introduction section of the paper. We noticed that the goals and objectives of your paper should match or coincide with those of the journal to which you submit the paper. Regarding the structure, I would suggest that before submission, study the journal's webpage and follow their submission guidelines and recommended formatting or structure. Last but not least is guidelines. Read these very carefully and do not to overlook anything that is highlighted. These are points that require special efforts in terms of concepts and format. Next slide, please. Okay. In this slide, I show you components for a successful paper. The following sections are required. There are no exceptions. You need title, affiliation, followed by abstract, including keywords, introduction. Body includes subtitles, materials, and methods, including literature review and methodology, followed by results and discussion, and summary and conclusions, finally, acknowledgement and references. Move on, please. Okay, the title is essential, is a key and cardinal. The title should not be in the form of a question. It's rarely done, And I advise you as beginners not to use a question format. It may contain a dozen words or more, and like the title of a book, must contain terms or non-phrase descriptives of the topic you propose to examine. The abstract also is critical. In one or two paragraphs, it precedes the article and summarizes content. It is shorter than the final summary and conclusion section of the main article, and less of an outline that is the closing paragraph of your introduction. We'll move on, please. Next slide, Dr. Napi. What to state in the abstract? First is the questions you intend to investigate, as mentioned in your introduction. Next, your purpose or objectives are very clearly stated in the first or second sentence. Following your experimental design or numerical technique and methods, the methods section, without going into detail. Then all major findings, especially key results that answer your questions. Finally, a brief summary of your interpretation and conclusion from discussion section. On to next slides. What to include in the introduction? Initial sentences focus on creating a research scope. Further writing identifies the research topic. Well, it is important to provide insights to current and or past problems. Here, one must cite the most important historical contributions, and then identify some issues that demand attention. This is your research topic. It is key to show how you will address this issue and then emphasize your contribution of new approach. Finally, your objective must appear in the final paragraph and then conclude with how it is your study will fill the gap that demands attention. These steps define the structure of a sound and journal-worthy introduction. Okay. Next is the text body or subtitle, including materials and methods. Use clear subheadings. You may follow social sciences or humanities formatting for subheadings. According to social science journals, it is a must to provide subheadings based on their guidelines. For humanities journal, you are free to provide your own based on the analyzed content, which usually underscores the how and why of things examined in the paper. This section requires a clear description of analytical methods written in past tense. Take it simply as a literary skill. This section is also where you describe in detail any new method used according to your perspective of the event or issue under investigation. The most important matter in this section is to show the significance of your research. Let's move on to the results section. Okay. The main purpose of this section is to provide sufficient data in great detail so that other researchers and readers can draw their own conclusions. And also, they can fully understand the basis for your conclusions. The results section shows the most flexibility in terms of organization and content. A common format for this section is to present a series of analyzed data and describe them in detail. Yes. The discussion section also allows for flexibility in terms of organization and content. The purpose is to interpret the results and describe the significance of the findings in synergy with the research problem under investigation per your introduction. Next, you can also explain any new understanding or insights gained regarding the problem statement after the findings or results into consideration. This indicates a stage of confidence in your findings.
Dr. Mansoureh, excuse me, sorry to the participant.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Maybe you can mute your speaker. Hello?
Yes, yes.
No, the participant. I hope can mute the mic.
It is a noise. I can, yeah. I don't know. This is a question.
Okay. Hello?
And then the question of morphological groups. It's very difficult to answer because
Could you
Yeah.
explain?
Maybe the participant can mute the mic so that don't interrupt the talk.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I think we have a caller.
Okay, Dr. Mansoureh, you can continue, I think. Okay, Dr. Mansoureh, you can continue.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Thank you, Dr. Naki.
Okay.
So I was talking about, the content of the discussion section that, of course, this section also allows flexibility in terms of organization and content. As I said, the purpose is to interpret the data, the result, and to describe the significance of your findings in synergy with the research problem that investigated earlier in your introduction. Next, you can also explain any new insights gained regarding the problem statement after taking the findings or result into consideration. This show a stage of confidence in your findings. One more point is that the discussion always connects or refers to introduction via research questions or your hypothesis presented, in addition to significance reviewed literature. This section also allows you to highlight any conclusions you think are important. But note well, most experts reading your paper withdraw their own conclusions. Often, writers combine both discussion and results section to avoid repetition. You can do so, and also to give the conclusions in parallel with results. The most important part of your paper is the discussion section. Move on to the discussion section, the content of the discussion section in the next slide. Yes, this is, thank you. So in this slide, I am going to explain the content of discussion section. First is explanation of result. Explanation of result is the most important component. Usually it is necessary to state whether or not results were expected and then present your explanations. You may explore in greater depth unexpected findings or those that were especially unusual. Where appropriate, mention any unusual or unanticipated trends or forms or patterns that emerge and attempt to explain their meaning. So the second point concerns references to previous research. Usually there are two types of references cited. First, general research that provides context and background information. The second is comparable research for comparison with your result. In addition to the literature review section, the greatest number and most important references cited in your research paper are usually found in the discussion. This is where you use them for your argument as well. The third component of the discussion's content is deduction. This concerns any claim as to how your results can be applied in general terms. I give an example. For instance, describing lessons learned or proposing realistic recommendations that might improve a situation or best practice. The fourth element is the hypothesis. This concerns a more general claim or possible conclusion that arises from results and which may be proven or disproven in subsequent research. Let's move on to show the setting of the discussion. In fact, setting up the discussions section is yet another challenge. A proper format begins with background, followed by a clear but brief statement on data and relevant literature. Taken together, this sets the discussion's tone and theme in light of the paper's introduction. Develop each point based on different categories. Each point is to be followed up by a logical stream of analytical thought. One should also avoid any repetition of findings by restating them as entire sentences. New things presented from the beginning. It is better to restate results in interpretive terms that join your analysis to relevance and continuity. Avoid nonsense and biased expressions that arise from writer's sentiment. This might come from his or her own feeling and biased sentiments. Repetition of beneficial outcomes should also be avoided, right along with any hint of uncertainty or overconfidence. Be confident that you have done your research well and found logical outcomes. Don't be overconfident. It is also coherently raises the level of the discussion by using expressions and terms that derive from new developments for concerns previously raised and for different categories. Next slide, please. Okay. Regarding conclusion, the end of the essay should convey a specific viewpoint. It should not present new information. Well, it summarizes the paper's achievements. Here, you evaluate as specifically as possible. What was achieved? For example, by stating implications or limitations, and what aspects of the problem statement your paper addressed. This means you conclude by considering all implications of your argument, including analysis and discussion. What do your arguments imply or involve or suggest? Here is the place that you can write on. This means to advance all themes your paper set out to address. Highlight the original contributions to knowledge and provide practical recommendations, should be realistic, and anticipate and diffuse, if possible, all counterclaims. Finally, involve suggestions for further research. This slide highlights criteria for the paper's structure. How to begin, how to elaborate the body, how to end. I'm going to simply show you the introduction's content in an inverted pyramid. It begins by identifying a general statement and ends with a specific statement. The general statement covers what the topic is all about, and the specific statement covers the issue on which the paper is focused. Note well, your discussion section focuses on findings ranging from general to specific. In synergy with this aspect of the introduction, and your conclusion begins by identifying a specific statement and ends with a general statement. Next, please. Okay. Acknowledgements are given at the end of a paper. Mention the source of funding or an institution's facilities that contribute to the article. You may recognize people who contribute to the article, but not at the level of authors. So avoid acknowledging. With regard to references, all references cited in the article must appear in a list of references. There is no need to list sources you studied for your own knowledge. By providing a good quality paper, you will achieve the first star here. Okay. One, please. Yeah. To achieve 2 more stars, you need to locate the most relevant journal for your paper and then communicate with the journal's editorial staff. Here are the keys for the author, editor, and publisher relationship. At this stage, you have completed your paper and are preparing to submit the manuscript for publication. Then you must determine the relationship of an author with a journal's editor or publisher. The author is the owner of the copyright and is entitled to sign the copyright agreement. When submitting an article, the author complies with these conditions. The publisher reserves the right to referee and or reject and accept the paper. If the paper does not meet the criteria out of the review form, or if the paper is in some other way deemed unsuitable. The author may identify details of copyright, author rights and responsibilities, and privacy. In order to introduce you the journals index in Scopus and Web of Science in different areas of social sciences and humanities. We need to organize a hands-on workshop because there is a huge potential and scope for publications in different fields. Here, concerning preparing your article for submission, you need to make your paper ready in terms of format, style, and other criteria as suggested by the journal before submission. Make sure the paper or your essay or your manuscript is the author's original work and is not currently under consideration for publication elsewhere. Learn the list of journals that cover your field of interest. Check and compare your paper with currently published articles in your journals. Patiently read through ethical guidelines for authors. Word count, format, templates, fee, etc. are all important matters. Make sure of the quality of your written English. My humble advice is to double check with a native editor. You will never regret doing this. Regarding submission to the journal, next slide. Akib. Yes, thank you. Regarding submission to the journal, usually there are two methods. First is email submission or editorial email that is provided in the journal's website, together with a covering letter and notes for the editor. And the second is to use the online submissions and peer review system, or as called it, OSPeers. Any further information in support of online submissions can be entered in notes for the editor or uploaded as a supplementary file. Next slide, please. Okay. After submission, the review process begins. All journals emphasize the quality of articles they publish. Therefore, submitted articles are put through a full double-blind referring process. Articles are sent to 2 to 3 experts for peer review. You may ask, how long does the review process usually take? First review, 1 to 2 months. The second review by the expert reviewers usually take 45 to 60 days, perhaps 3 to 4 months, or even a year. So be patient. Comply with the reviewer's recommendations, okay, and make the required changes. Regarding corresponding author, okay, the journal expects a corresponding author to be named, one who is responsible during the referring process and will collect and provide copyright assignment from each contributing author after acceptance. Next slide, please. This slide shows a sample of cover letter. You may use it for your providing a cover letter. So full name, affiliations, and addresses are needed, including emails for all authors. Some journals require ORCID or ORCID ID, and academic website links, if any. It should be dated and start with the name of the editor. Please check the name of the editor before writing the cover letter. So professor or doctor, try to, fully write up his name. Then it depends on the number of the authors. You're only one author or more. You use the term I. We wish to submit a new manuscript entitled. Here, you should write up fully, in a complete term, your title for consideration by the journal. And the journal name should be appear here. Well, we confirm that this work is original and has not been published elsewhere, nor is it currently under consideration for publication elsewhere. In this paper, what you need to write up is that what is the main objective of the research? What is its report on? This is significant. Why? If you believe that this is significant, what is the significance of your paper? The paper should be of interest to readers in the area of work. Here is the place that it should be matched with the aim of the journal. The next paragraph, please explain in your own words the significance and novelty of the work and the contribution to the literature, the problem that is being addressed, and why the manuscript belonged in this journal. Do not simply insert your abstract into your cover letter. Briefly describe the research you are reporting in your paper, why it is important, why you think the readership of the journal would be interested in it. So it should be interesting for that journal. Please address all correspondence concerning this manuscript to, this is who is going to be the correspondent of the author. And email address should be included. And you just thank you for your consideration of this manuscript, and sincerely, and your name should be given. Okay. If you decide to change the journal, what you should do? You want to submit elsewhere. The author must have formal written evidence of the rejection or withdrawal of the article from the original place of submission. If the author wishes to abandon the review process or remove his or her article from the system prior to acceptance or publication, the article must be formally withdrawn in writing before it can be submitted to another journal. Non-compliance with any of the above conditions may result in sanctions. Next, please. Okay, you can increase your stars by increasing your citations. I use the term star because these points will advance your position. Therefore, please note that you should write so that your article will be cited by other scholars later. And your work explored throughout the world. Original contributions to knowledge will surely be realized. Thank you for your attention. And with that, I end my presentation today. Dr. Maki.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mansoureh, for the sharing session. I'm sure that our honorable guests here get a better understanding on about the structure of article in social science field and in other field. Now we proceed to Q&A session. If the participant have any question on the topic, please do not hesitate to ask either by audio or you can type in the chat box.
See the box.
Dr. Mansoureh, if the participant want the slide, can we email this slide to them, okay?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, to all participants, if there is any question, please do not hesitate to ask. So if there is no question, maybe we can continue to the second session. Dr. Fauzi?
Oh yes, Dr. Nakib, I'm here.
Okay, are you ready?
Mm.
If we continue?
I have to be ready. Okay. Thank you very much. So,
Okay, so if there is no question, maybe you can contact Dr. Mansoureh in person. Okay, now I think we can start with our new session, and the topic will be shared by our honorable speakers, the Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Fauzi Abu. He is currently an Associate Professor at Academy of Islamic Civilization, Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. His specialization is in political economy. He earned his he is a PhD holder from Durham University and earned his master degree in economics and bachelor of Sharia in Islamic economics, both from University of Malaya, Malaysia. His main research interests include the Middle Eastern countries' relation with the countries in Southeast Asia, Islamic political economy, as well as Islamic economics and finance. He has authored and co-authored more than 30 journal articles published in various reputable journals. He is also a chief editor for Umran, International Journal of Islamic and Civilization Studies. Therefore, proceeding with today's special event, and without further ado, I would like to invite our honorable guest for this morning, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Fauzi Abu, to share his valued knowledge.
okay, all right. Thank you very much, Dr. Muhammad Nakib, our distinguished professors, lecturers, students, and postgraduate students from all over the world. Thank you very much for participating for this program. And thank you very much also to our previous speaker, Dr. Mansoureh, who has enlightened us on the constructing a research or academic paper. It's very, very useful, especially for those who is currently writing or constructing a manuscript to be published in any journal. And again, thank you very much for those participating in this program. This is the first kind of sessions that we have with both, with the three universities, Universiti Teknologi Malaysia, and then we also have Mindanao State University, and we also have UIN Malang, Universiti Islam Negeri in Malang, Indonesia. Thank you very much for joining us. All right, so my sessions will focus on the high impact educational writing. It's actually continuations from the previous sessions that given by Dr. Mansoureh. Dr. Mansoureh talked about how to publish in a high impact journal. I will focus on the selecting appropriate journal. Selecting appropriate journal for your paper. So we assume that you already have your own paper, you have already construct your paper, and you follow the tips by Dr. Mansoureh, and now it's a time to publish your paper in a reputable journal. But before that, let me introduce a bit about myself, although it's already introduced by Dr. Nakib. I'm from Academy of Islamic Civilizations, Faculty of Social Science and Humanities. You can go to surf to my website, people.utm.my/Fauzi Abu, and you can also check my Pablon. This is where I put all my reviews, all my research papers that have been published. Okay, this is also very important. If you have a Pablon account, it's really help you to increase your visibility for academic. All right. Okay, as mentioned by Dr. Nakib, I also currently editor for Umran. It's a flagship journal published by UTM Press, and we at the Academy of Islamic Studies are managing this journal, and we have been running this journal since 2014, and it's been 6 years publishing articles, research papers from all over the world. Right? We receive submissions from Brunei, from Indonesia, from Thailand, and also from Middle East to publish their work in our journal. So we encourage you all the participants here to submit if you have any relevant papers and relevant articles to be published in our journal. You can log into the website journal umran.utm.my. It is currently indexed in ASEAN Citation Index. We are now submitting for the Scopus indexing publication. So hopefully by by next year, we know the results and we could be indexed in Scopus. Okay, this is my review. I've done a few numbers of reviews, and they are all verified in Pablons. I am a regular reviewers for Journal of Islamic Marketing, and also International Journal of Islamic and Finance. That are the journals that frequently ask me to review the papers. This is a little bit information about my Scopus. This is my Scopus info. Okay. This is important, because if you being academics, you need to have Scopus account, you need to have ORCID account, and a few others important accounts for academic, for your publications. All right, so let's begin to our discussions on the impactful article. So what actually is impactful article? I think some of the discussions already been covered by Dr. Mansoureh, and I will discuss a bit what actually we mean by a good or impactful article. But before we begin, I need your cooperations. I need your feedback. Actually, if you could go to this website, if you can scan this QR code, you scan this QR code and then answer the questions in the website. Okay, or you can click this link that in the chat box, and then it will bring you, okay, to these questions. Hold on, Okay, I need your feedback, okay, to answer these following questions again. If you could, click the link, okay. Maybe you can share with us, why do I need to write an academic paper? Okay. I taking your cooperations to answer these questions. There are 3 options to be answered there. You just put any word. Why do we need to write an academic paper? So please answer these questions, then we can share the outcome later. Can you manage, everyone? You follow today's you go to these or you can scan this QR code and then answer the questions that given in the menti.com. Been so far there is no answer for these questions. Any response? Oh, there is no response, because I'm asking here, why as academic, why do we need to write an academic paper? Maybe you can share with us your thought. And I'm asking you to write here in the Mentimeter. Let me share this website before we begin. Do you get me? Okay. To expand knowledge, to share knowledge. You can see in this slide, okay, there is a response here from our participants. Okay, great. To get review, to share knowledge, to expand knowledge. What else? Okay, we only got 3 answers here. Anyway, thank you very much. To share our new findings, great. So meaning that, okay, we know that that is our responsibility for the academic to share our knowledge, to expand our knowledge to the wider audience of the academia. All right, so few response. Thank you very much for those who responded to the question. Quite a lot here. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Again, if I can share with you the response here from our participants. Hold on, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is the response. To get review, to expand knowledge, to share our new findings. Okay. To fulfill postgraduate requirement graduation, and to contribute to, I believe, to contribute to the academia. Okay, thank you very much. So as academic, I believe you all know that what we should do. Why is that important to publish or to write an academic writing? Here's are these reasons on why we need to publish. Some of us might think that being academia is just to, or being a lecturer just to teach or just to supervise students, but it's more than that. So we need to also publish, we need to also share our knowledge to the wider audience, to the academia, to the society, and so on. So here I mean the importance, and one of them is to share our research output, knowledge expansions, and to increase our visibility. This is also important. If you don't write, no one will know you except your students. If you don't write, we do not engage with the academia, so no one will know our field, our area of expertise, and so on, except for those that meets us, or especially our students. So this is very important to increase our visibility, to increase collaborations, and also to get funding from the funder or government and so on. And then why we need to write also to get recognition. This is also responsibility as academia to publish. And then also, of course, once we have published, citation is very important. And then for career advancement, okay, some of the university look into your publications, how many of papers we have published, and how many impactful papers we have published. Okay, that's one of the criteria that most of the universities look into, especially those in the high-ranking university, because to get rank in time higher education, for example, or to more reportable body, they look into how many papers or how many citations that we get from our paper. Okay, guys. So what do you mean by impactful academic writing? Is it a quality of academic writing, and how do we measure it? And can we rely on certness of particular paper or journal that can be considered an impactful academic writing? It is, of course, some of us might believe that the quality of journal or the quality of articles is very important. But actually, if we publish a good quality academic writing, for sure, it will get good citations, okay? And to publish if you have a good quality of articles, don't waste our time to publish in a non-reputable journal or bogus journal or predatory journal. We have to find a good journal to publish our paper. So today I will explain to you how do we find a good reputable journal in social science using the database. All right. Okay, guys. Before we start to write, this is very important questions. I want to ask you another questions. Okay. Hold on. To this again. Hold on. Hold a second, yeah. Okay. I share with you this link. All right. So that's great. Once you begin to write a paper, to whom are you communicating with, or to whom are you writing your paper? Okay, you answer these questions. You go to this what we call that this website. It's either you click you scan this, or I will share with you. Okay, I share with you this link, right? Then you can click that link and answer the questions. The question is, all right, the question is, once you begin to write a paper, to whom are you communicating with? This is very important. Before you start to write a paper, okay, who actually you communicated with? Thank you very much for the response. We have like 4, 3, okay, 5 responses here. Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys. It's an overwhelming response to answer these questions. I share with you the finding from our survey, a short survey today. Okay. Okay, this is the finding. Most of our participants believe that we should communicate the way, style of writing, the way that we write. We should focus on the reader. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. You know what? I want to share with you something. This is very important. Okay, when you write a paper, who is the first gatekeeper for our paper? Serving as an editor for Umran, I personally believe the first thing that we need to bear in mind when we write a paper is actually an editor. Okay, supposed to be, but no one answered this. Okay, but from my personal experience submitting papers and reviewing papers from journals, the one that actually we communicate with, I mean, the way that we write our paper, we should consider the first thing is an editor of that journal. This is very important, because when you submit or you write a paper that does not reflect an editorial's requirements or editorial's specifications, definitely our paper will be rejected. Okay? This is very important. So we need to just to know. Thank you very much for those answer this is editor. Okay, for those who prepare a paper, okay, you need to make sure that your paper meet the minimum requirements set by a specific journal editor. Okay, I think Dr. Mansoureh already explained about this structure of good paper and so on, but I will put a little bit, discuss a little bit, a very thorough explanations what actually constitute a good paper writing. This is the basic principles. You must have a cohesive writing. Your argument must be logical. Don't put your argument wrongly, or your objective is different, and then your discussions or your results is different from your objective, and so on. That is illogical, and it's not your writing is not cohesive. So you must take this into considerations. Present the arguments of others fairly and with appropriate narrative tones. Don't to be harsh and don't to be biased as well. Okay, some of the paper I reviewed is actually the author's personal views. In academia, we need to be fair. We cannot to bias to any specific ideas or any specific writers only, but we have to be fair and contrast our views or the argument with other writers as well. And the article also need to be properly cited, and follow the publication house style. That's why it's very important when you write a paper, look into the editors and look into the journal specification and so on. If we in the social science, mostly we use for example, for the reference or citation style, we normally use author date system, APA style, but some of us might use the footnote style of referencing. So you have to be very careful in your paper. Use appropriate words and use unambiguous language. Please be precise in delivering your ideas, in delivering your, in putting your words into sentence. Use precise words and language, and follow the academic conventions such as citation, reference styles, publication house styles, and then any reasons or any argument that you put must be evidence-based reasoning, and don't simply put something that does not have proof, or something that not irrelevant. Your thesis, your paper must also thesis driven. okay, it must be constructs according to the academic. All right, so that's the basic principles of good paper writing. Okay, so now we move into when we want to write a paper to a journal, we have to understand the types of journal articles. Okay, there are we normally use or we know that in writing a journal articles, we normally write a review articles, or we normally write a original research. But there are other types of journal articles that we can also publish, right? Some of them like short reports or letters we can also publish. If it is important to a journal, then we can publish a short report. If you can publish a book review. Book review can be also published in any journals. Okay, some of journals they accept these book reviews. You also can publish a short communication. Okay, if you have a new methodologies or methods, a completely new methods or better versions of methodology, we can publish with a journal as well. You can publish case studies, technical notes, letter to editor, or some of the journal, if they publish something, need to correct something that already been published previously, and they can publish like erratum or corrigendum version of articles. All right. Sorry, it's not good. Okay. Now we're moving into selecting the journals for publications. How do we select journals for publications? Okay, this is very important as well. Normally, when we have a paper, okay, what we do, we'll ask our colleague, we will ask our friend, where can we find a journal to be published? Okay, this is some important tips, or some tips that can you use to select the right journals. First, what we need to do is to gather information on the journal mission, scope, aim, and impact factor. Okay, very important. Okay. Sometimes when I receive a paper, they do not follow our guidelines. So what will I do? I will just reject that paper, definitely, because first, they do not know the scope of our journal. They don't really read our main objectives of the journal, okay, main aim, scope for our journal. So I will definitely reject that. So that's why it's very important when you want to publish a paper, look into the journal, understand what are the journal's scopes, missions, aims, and so on. Okay. Be realistic about where you send your manuscript for consideration for publications. Okay, what I mean here, be realistic, is that sometimes some of our colleagues, they want to publish in high impact factor journals, and what do we mean by high impact is that if you use Web of Science database, they will rank journals according to quartile or to a percentile classifications. All right, the most high impact is the one that have 25%. I mean, the best 25% particular area. Okay, so for example, in economics, if there is 100 journals, they will rank the best journals according to percentile: 25% best, 50% best, 75% best, and the best among hundreds. Okay, so the high impact factor is normally those in the 25% group of journals. Okay, so sometimes we want to publish in the best 25% of the particular journals, but our paper is not that standard. So you have to be realistic. You need to make sure can be considered for that publication. Okay, the third one is discuss where you want to publish with an experienced colleague. This kind of sharing sessions actually can be done frequently so that we can know where our colleague publish, or where our experienced colleague publish their paper, so that we can have idea where we can publish our paper, we can send our paper for publications. All right, do not simply sending everything you write to one of the high factor journals with both the Journal Times and yours. This is also very important. We cannot just simply send everything that we write, okay, to the high impact factor journals, but we must consider the most realistic one to be published. But some of us might answer, which one should come first? Is it to selecting the journal, or to write the paper first before we publish a paper? Okay, it can like answering these questions like to discuss about chicken or egg first. Okay, sometimes they want to prepare a paper first, and sometimes they want to find a journal first. But for me, once you start your research, is either your PhD research or master research or academic research, you have to know, you have to identify where this research can be published. Okay, and my humble opinion is that when you start your research, then you already identified few or you already shortlisted few journals, potential journals that can publish your research. Then you can start study the journals. In fact, you can also offer yourself to be a reviewer for that particular journal. Okay. How can you do that? It's now very easy. Right? You can write to the editor, or you can register yourself in their database. Once you have been selected as a reviewer, right, and you did the assignments for reviewing a paper, follow the instructions, guidelines, and follow the deadline. Okay, I believe the journal editor will frequently appoint or ask you to be a reviewer for the next paper. Okay, so this is the tip. I think I would suggest to you, register to be a reviewer for a particular journal. Then you can understand what are these the requirements, the style of writings, what are the topics that the journals normally normally publish for their publications. Because nowadays some of the journals, they are very particular to pick or to choose a topic to be published in their journals. They will publish potential papers that will be cited from other papers. Okay, they will look into topics that can attract people to cite the paper. How to find? We discuss later how to find hot topics or hot academic papers that we can publish in any journal. I will discuss this later on using a database. Okay, how to choose a right journal? What kind of articles the journals are looking for? Ask yourself. Okay, if you want to start, if you already answered this, okay, then now ask yourself how to choose a right journals. Okay, once you already find a particular journal, you have to answer these questions. The targeted audience. Some of the journals, they only target for the audience is only among the industrial practitioner. Some of the journals, the audience are academics. Some only for postgraduate students. and so on. So you have to understand, we have to know who are the target audience for that particular journal, what is the format requirements, how prestigious is the journal, how long to publish. Like Dr. Mansoureh discussed with us, some of the journal took months or even years to publish, because especially in science, social science, humanities, most of the journals, they only publish like once or two times a year, or some publish quite frequently, like quarterly, or 3 times a year. But it's hard to find a social science journal, a reputable social science journals that can publish every month, except few, but most of the journals, they publish like quarterly or biannually, or even some once a year. Okay, you have to know the publish and commission cost, if there is any, what kind of articles that journal looking for. This is very important. What kind of articles? Some of journal, they do not accept theoretical or conceptual papers. They prefer to publish empiricals or a research paper instead of conceptual papers. So you have to understand this. You have to understand what kind of articles. Because if we have like conceptual or theoretical papers, that particular journal might not accept our paper. All right. Okay, so how to find a good reputable journal? We can use appropriate database. You can use a database like Web of Science or Scopus or Google Scholar. These are the most prominent database for academic. Some of the university, they subscribe this database. For example, Web of Science and Scopus, you need to subscribe these two databases. Okay, except for Google Scholar, it's free of charge, but these two databases need to be subscribed. All right. And there are a few other databases for social science we can use, like academic research provided by Microsoft.com, Google Scholar, and also Pablon. You also can use Pablon to search in database. Okay, this is an example. If you use Microsoft Academic Research, you can find, for example, here you want to find a particular area, a particular topic. You type the field of study halal, they will show you what are the journals that publish your this topic. Okay, we can use this to find a particular journal and to publish. Like if you want to publish on halal, the most important or the most frequent the most published paper is in the Journal of Islamic Marketing and Futures. Okay, this is my. Right, let me skip this. Okay. Okay, that's how to use the database. I will show you. Okay, I will show you how to use Scopus database to find a topic, or to find a topic to be published. Hold on, yeah. Somewhere in here. Okay, how to find trending highly cited topic. Okay, you can use this database, Scopus, Web of Science, or you can also use Lens or Microsoft Academic. But now for today's, I only use, I will demonstrate how to use Scopus database and to find our paper. Hold on, yeah. To find appropriate topics. Okay, if you log into scopus.com, these are what I normally do. Okay, what you can do is to search here. For example, you want to search about halal certificate, for example, halal certification. I hope you can see my screen. And now I am in the Scopus database. This is what I normally do to find a suitable journal to be published. Okay, so here when I search for this database, Scopus.com, I look into halal certification, for example. It gives us 325 documents, and what we need to do after that is okay, you tick this one, you tick all here, okay, and then click this button, view citation overview. Okay, then it brings you, okay, to this page. It shows you that this topic, okay, this topic is currently trending. Why I say trending? Because you see, the citation keep increasing. You see that? Okay, within 4 years or 5 years, if you look into 5 years back, there were only 166, 186 citations, but now topics in the halal certifications been cited like 773 citations. Okay, so meaning that the citation increased 4 times within 5 years. So this is interesting, meaning that this is interesting topic, and I think most of the journals, they want to publish topics on halal, right? Because a lot of people are citing this topic. So if people keep citing that particular papers, it will definitely increase the journal's reputations, journal's credibility, and also improve the journal's impact factor or journal citations index. So this is the way that if you want to find a particular topics that are trending in a research area. Okay, and another things what we can do with this database, apart from looking into papers, we can also analyze where does this topic normally where this topic normally published. We can click this button, analyze research results. We can click this button, analyze research results. Okay, all right. Let me restrict this into 2019 because 2020 is yet to finish, but we can also use this one. Okay, anyway. Okay, look into this analysis. You can see this. Okay, the trends keep increasing except in 2020, because in 2020 there are another 2 months to go. I believe by end of this year, these topics, this publication on halal certification will also increase. You see the trend here is keep increasing. Okay, within 10 years, it's increased quite very, very significant. You see here. This is the number of paper published in this topic, halal certifications. From like here 5 years ago, 22, now 60, more than 60 papers published in this topic. This was published last year, 61 documents published in this topic. Where this paper published, most of this paper published, you can see here, document by subject area. Okay, here the documents by country and territory. Okay, you see here Malaysia is contributes a lot for these topics. Okay, and who are the authors that publish in this topic? Okay, mostly this is very important as well. Okay, from this analysis, you can know who are the prominent authors published in this topic. Like this one, if you are in the fields of halal science, Johann Fischer, prominent writers published in halal science, halal certifications. Johann Fischer is anthropologist who is now in I think in Denmark or somewhere in Europe. It's a very interesting topic he wrote for halal certifications. Okay, so what I want to show you is that here you can find topics that can be used as well for your literature review. You can find researchers that publish in this area. Okay, and what another thing is that if you publish your paper in this particular topic, you also need to cite. I mean, it's very, very important to cite these particular guides, so that they, meaning that you have done a thorough reviews for your research paper. Okay. All right. So this is the analysis for research topic. So give insights how. What are the trending topics in your area? Another things in Scopus, there are another way that you can use. Okay, you can find these what we call that trending topic. If you search in Google, you search in Scopus this particular articles, and then you can look into this prominence percentile. Okay, it gives you insights or indicator that this particular journals here is one of the prominence paper in this particular area. Right? So it calls a prominence percentiles. Right? Okay. Prominence is an indicator that shows the current momentum of topic. It shows the current momentum of topics, and it's calculated by weighing three metrics for papers clustered in topic: citation counts, covers with an average site score. So it shows us the trending, how has been this paper or how this topic been trending in this particular area. Okay, so yep, so I hope it gives you idea to how to find the trending topics for your articles. All right. Okay. Now let's talk about these indexings. Okay. Journal category. Okay. The previous one we talked about the how to find the trending topics for our papers, or to find trending area, right, to be written. But now let me discuss a bit about the journal category. Okay, once we already know the topics, then now we want to find appropriate or suitable, reputable journal for our papers. All right. Journal can be categorized into two. The first one is reviewed and indexed journal. For the reviewed paper, some of the journals is non-reviewed journals. You can easily publish your papers. You just submit to them without any review process. Yes, we have, and now we still have, but not many, except normally for academic institutions, for the reputable publisher, most of them are peer-reviewed journals. Okay, and for the indexing, okay, indexing is can be divided into two. First one is non-indexed journals, and the second one is indexed journal. But nowadays, normally journals are indexed at least in the Scopus. At least in the Google Scholar indexing. Does indexing reflect the quality of journals? Is arguable, but given the stringent and complicated criteria to be indexed, I believe journals that been indexed actually only publish a good quality of articles. Okay, so these are the index journals. Some of them publish in some of them are indexed in Scopus Index, and some of them are indexed in the Web of Science. Okay, why do I say that the journal that been indexed only publish a good quality of journal, a good quality of articles? Okay, because for example in Scopus, they have set up a very stringent criteria to index a particular journal. Okay, they have this criteria, like the first one, the journal must be peer reviewed and must have English abstract, and publications or the journal publish regular publications. They cannot miss or they cannot delay publication schedule, and must have references, okay, Roman script references, and must have the publication ethics statement. So meaning that every paper published in that particular journal must be screened or must follow the ethicals guideline and so on. Okay, and then the second stage, where the second criteria or the second parts of the criteria of Scopus, the journal must have journal policy, the quality of content. They will check everything here. The journal standing, how do they measure the standings? Is by the citedness. This is very important. That's why I mentioned to you why does paper are very selective in choosing particular topics to be published in their journal, because they want to increase the citedness. They want to increase the citations of that particular journal. Okay, and then they will look into the editor standing, who are the main editors and so on, and the publication must be regular, no delay, and must have the online availability. See, these are the criteria to be indexed in Scopus database. So in one way or another, I believe being an index or Scopus index paper, it actually reflects the quality of the publications. So this is a very how does the index database reflects the quality and the coverage of this particular papers. All right, so normally for Web of Science and Scopus, it has very high quality, but the numbers of papers or the number of journals being indexed in those particular journal is very limited. For this Web of Science and Scopus, the coverage is limited. Not all journals in this world are indexed in Web of Science or in Scopus database. They have very, like I said before, they have very stringent criteria to include any journals to be indexed in their database. Okay, and then so that's why I said to you the quality can be considered as high. But for these two database, the numbers or the coverage of journals, the numbers of journal index in these two database is very huge. You can normally, once you publish online, Google Scholar will definitely cover, include that particular journals in the database, but we can say that the quality might be compromised. It's a very sometimes the quality was not up to the standard. Okay. So this is the little bit about the index or the database ranking. Okay, how to find that, how to make sure that that journal is indexed. Normally it is mentioned in the journals. For the reputable journal, they will show that in their journals. Let me find these annotations. Okay. For high reputable journal, they will They will show here in the abstracting and indexing. You see here, like this one, these journals that is abstracted in this particular database. Okay, and we look into other journal as well. They normally mention here somewhere, but to be assured whether this journal is indexed in those database, in the Scopus database or Web of Science database, we have to double check with the database itself. You can log on to the Web of Science database or Scopus.com database, and then find that particular journal, whether it is indexed in that journal or not, or indexed database or not. Okay. Let us do some demonstrations. Okay, because I frequently receive questions from our students. They want to know whether this particular journal is indexed or not in Scopus. Okay, how do we find, how do we make sure, how do we assure that particular journal is indexed in Scopus? It is very simple. What we need to do is to find oh dear, sorry, I something wrong with this. Sorry, I accidentally closed. Okay, I accidentally closed this. Okay, let us do it again. Okay, you go to scopus.com, and then you have a particular, if you have any particular journal that you want to check. Okay, here you click source title, and then search here like a journal of critical review, for example. Okay, then you search here. So hold on, source title. Okay, oh, there's no here. Okay, hold on. Okay, you see here. Okay, we can find this journal of critical reviews, and you click that journal. Okay, and it will show you the Scopus that coverage for this particular journal. So this journal is covered in that Scopus database from 2019 to current date to present. So it shows you that this journal is indexed in the Scopus database. So this is to make sure that this particular journal is indexed in the database. Okay, so you can also use Web of Science to make sure that the journal is indexed. Okay, this is Scopus, I already mentioned. If you want to use a Web of Science, you can log into the webofknowledge.com. Let me show this. Okay, like if you want to find a particular journal, you choose here publication name, and then you type this journal like this one. Okay, so see, there is no, maybe something wrong with this writing. This okay, so yes, you can find it shows you there is a journal that index in this particular database. Okay, so like this one, the Pacific Review. Okay, if you click this button, it show you the impact factor. This is what I said. The journal is ranked in the best 25 for area studies. 25%. So quartile one is meaning that 25% best of the area. There are 77 journals in this category, area of studies, and this journal, Pacific Review, is ranked at number 11. So it's falls within the best 25% of this general category. Okay, so this is what I mean by quartile or percentile category. All right. So you can check this here to make sure that your paper or your journal, your prospective journal is included in the database. Okay, so that's the data index database. I only discussed two main databases. That is Web of Science and the Scopus database. All right. I already discussed about this, how to find trending highly cited topic. This is very, very useful for me. If I want to find trending topics, whether a particular area is trending or a particular area can get more citations. Okay, so we can use these tools to find our research area. Okay, so yep, we'll next move into how to boost your citations. Once we already publish when we have already have our own article, you may think how to increase your citations, because citations nowadays is very important to show that your paper is read by other researcher and is referred for their for their writings. Okay, so how can we increase our citation? Before we start our writing, we can choose a proper title. Okay, like I said, using the tools to find highly cited paper in database, it will certainly help us to find a proper paper title. And then we also need to choose very careful about your keywords. Keywords also very important. This will definitely help you to increase your citation, because keywords normally when you put keywords in our paper, they will include it in database engine or the search engine. Okay, whenever other other researchers find or search for a particular keywords, it's definitely help our paper to be included in their findings. And so that's why we need to be very careful to choose our keywords in our paper. Okay, use keywords and phrases in your title and repeatedly in your abstracts. Okay, this is the tips. Okay, use our keywords and phrases that we put in titles, and also need to be repeated in the abstract. So that will increase the possibility of other researchers find our papers. Okay, use a consistent form of your name in all of your papers. Okay, this is another thing. Okay, if you write a paper, you have to make sure that you use a consistent form of your name. Okay, this is very important, because when you look into Scopus database, you go into the Scopus database. Okay, I give you some of these. I put my name, for example. Okay, I want to show you how does this reflects to okay, like this one, yeah. Okay, like me myself, I frequently use this name, Abu-Hussin Muhammad Fauzi. But sometimes when I write with others, or sometimes when my students write the papers, it does not follow the normal names. So this is very important. Sometimes we use different form of name, so we must make sure that whenever we publish, we have to follow the standards or the what we call this consistent form of our name. Otherwise, sometimes people do not recognize who are these people. Are this name are the same with these people, or so on. All right. Make your manuscript easily accessible. Okay. You can choose to publish in an open access, but it will incur more cost if you want to publish in open access journal. But most I would suggest is that publish in open journal, open access journal, journals that do not charge if you want to access their database. But to have an open access journal sometimes is very expensive. What do I mean open access journal is that some of the journals will give you options to pay if you want to include in the open access publications, because when you go to a particular journal, if you are not in the universities or you're not in the university especially, or you are not subscribed that particular journal, you cannot download the articles. But some of the articles can be downloaded if that particular article choose to be an open access publication, because they pay more for the open access publications. Okay, all right. So next, what we can do to increase our citation is to share your data. We can share our data to our colleague friends, to Facebook and so on. Presents your work at conferences, and you can also use academic social media like ResearchGate or academics, Pablons and so on. They're all free that you can disseminate our paper so that other peoples can cite your papers. When I publish my paper, I will definitely share my paper in ResearchGate. I will submit my paper in academics.com and so on. All right. Let me skip this. Okay. I think that's all for my presentations. This is the tips for choose the title for the article journal. I don't want to touch that. I think Dr. Mansoureh already mentioned about that previously. Okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much for your attentions. If you have any questions that you want to ask, please raise your questions, or you can type your question in the chat box. Okay, Dr. Nakib, I think that's all for my presentations. I pass the button back to Dr. Nakib. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Assistant Professor Dr. Muhammad Fauzi, for the great sharing session. I'm sure that our honorable guests here get a better understanding on the writing or the searching and writing skills in social science field. Now we proceed the question and answer session. So if the participant have any question on the topic, please don't hesitate to ask. And for a reminder, I would like to remind the participant to fill the Google form and your feedback of the program, and the link is provided in chat box, so that we can send to you the e-certification by email later. So either you can write in your question in chat box, or you can also call it in audio and unmute and speak it through your microphone.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
This is Muhammad from Ibrahim. It is very interested hearing the presentation of the speaker just now. but let me know how to right now we're discussing about Islamic studies and
Dr.
also for some Arabic article. Okay, thank you.
Dr. Fauzi, do you get the question?
Uh,
Can you repeat again? Do you say to publish Arabic article? Do you mean? Is it
yes,
from?
Hello, from Mujab?
yes, I repeat my question.
Okay.
How to find out the right journal that can be published in Islamic studies area
Okay.
and for the Arabic article.
Okay. Dr. Fauzi? How to publish, how to find the right journal for Islamic studies and in the Arabic article.
Okay, maybe Dr. Mansoureh can help me because I do not. Okay, my opinion is that for the Islamic studies, you can also use these database, Scopus and Web of Science databases, but the options or the list of journal is not that many. That's the thing. And we can also use Index Islamicus. If you go to Google and you can find Index Islamicus, okay, Index Islamicus. Index Islamicus is the one of the index that gather all Islamic journals. Okay, if you go to indexislamicus.com, okay, it will give you insight or give you list of publications on the Islamic studies. Okay, I believe if you go to that website, they will give you list of publications in Islamic studies, including Arabic journals, Arabic written journals. But Index Islamicus is not compared to Scopus and Web of Science. Index Islamicus is not that has lower repute. I mean, the ranking is a little bit lower than those but to a database. Maybe Dr. Mansoureh can add some more.
Actually, I was on the way from the secretary room to reach to my office. Let me just repeat the question is that they are writing in Arabic and they're looking for a journal index in Scopus or Web of Science. Am I right?
Yes, I think, yes.
Okay. As far as I know, of course, as I mentioned, English is an international language nowadays. So this is the things that this is a challenge for almost all scholars to improve their skills. By the way, if you're going to writing in Arabic, there are some journals indexed in Scopus, but I don't think that you can find in Web of Science. For example, at Dirasa, based in Jordan, I guess, that is cover some of the themes of social science and humanities regarding the literature, Arabic literature, definitely you can publish there. And also one of the local journals in Malaysia, the journal Dr. Fauzi, in University of Malaya.
Afkar, I think.
Afkar, as well as
Journal Tamadun, I think.
Journal Atamadun, exactly. Yes. Yeah, with who's the editor is Prof. Ruslan, yeah. Okay, so these two journals you have the chance to publish. By the way, you should also consider that if you publish it in Arabic, you are limited your readers into Arabic language only. By the way, I guess if you write it in English, you can increase your citation as well. Yeah, I hope you got the point.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Mansoureh, can I ask the question?
Yes, please.
Okay, for example, for someone that cannot write in English, good English, what is your opinion if we write it in our language? For example, we write it in Bahasa Melayu, so then we translate it and we send it, maybe the process will be more long if we write it in English. So after I write it in bahasa, and then I translate it to English. So I send it to proofread, and then I send it to the journal, and then the journal send me the major correction, and then I have to rewrite it in Malay again. So what is your opinion? What's your opinion?
It is
This is a
a good
long
idea.
process. Thank you, Dr. Nakib. Okay. Let me clear something here in between, all right? Because actually my first and foremost advice is try to improve your skills in writing. English was a foreign language for me too, but you have to have passion, dedication, a desire that you want to learn. It's not that difficult to learn if you focus on your field, okay? Because if you want to write your paper in Bahasa language, and then ask anybody or any of your friends or translator to translate it for you, the question is that whether he or she is able to translate accurately for you, because in most of the fields there are some special terms that we cannot easily translate it word by word into English. It doesn't make sense, okay? So if you're going to do so, please try to find an expert in your field who is able to translate it for you. Then after your submission, as you said, that probably you receive a major correction. But major correction actually means the totally, correction given to your idea. Probably language is part of that, okay? But the idea that you develop it or you introduce it in your paper is quite far from the logical, or you fail to prove it. This is not totally related to the language. But if it was major question, yes, I would say so. So that's why in one of my slides, I suggested to read up as much as possible in your field, okay, to get a new idea. Otherwise, it will be repetition from literature, from the old ideas, and the worst scenario will happen when you want to translate it from your mother tongue into English.
Okay.
By the way, Dr. Nakib, if you receive any major correction, if it's your experience, do not hesitate to share it with me, okay?
Okay, inshallah.
Dr. Mansoureh, actually,
Yeah.
I met you last 4 years back, I think, when I visited International Islamic University, IIUM, in Malaysia. And
Yes.
I follow you in your lecture about the making article. So it is good opportunity for me. Today I can meet you again in the best situation.
It is
Thank you
indeed,
very much.
you're welcome. It is indeed a great pleasure for me too. Yeah, I see most of you are professors, and I am so impressed, to even present in front of you. But that's really kind of you, and I'm so thrilled to see you all in this meeting room. And especially thanks to Dr. Sarwan, my brother from Indonesia, Professor Abdul Aziz from Dubai, our
Thank you.
good colleagues, okay? We miss you here at UTM, Prof. Abdul Aziz, and many, many more that I see their names here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You-
So I think and later I think we will send the e-certificate and with the notes by both of the presenter. So with that we okay yeah.
Can we get the recording, because I have to hear many time to study of our.
Okay, we will send the link with the email also.
Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay, before I close and the session, maybe we can turn on the video, and I want to screenshot the participant face.
Thank you, everyone. So we see quite
Amount of participant.
yeah.
Some of us is driving. Careful, huh?
Right. So some of
Okay.
our students, yeah.
Ah,
Okay. So you have also participants from Philippines, yeah, and Indonesia. Dr. Aziz from Dubai. Dr. Aziz, time not seeing you. I really miss you, Dr. Aziz. Okay.
Maria from Jakarta, stay beautiful. And Tony, thank you for joining us. And also my dear Mahshid from Iran.
Great.
so a lot of friend of Dr. Mansoureh.
It's a great opportunity. Thank you very much to the faculty and Dr. Nakib and other members, Dr. Akmaliza as well.
Okay, thank you.
It's a
So
great opportunity.
okay,
Have
so
you screenshot the
yes.
done the screenshot?
Done screenshot.
Okay.
Okay, with that I think with that I think we can end the session with tasbih kafarah suratul as, and assalamualaikum and have a good day.
Thank
See
you very
you.
much. Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay,
See
thank
you
you
in the
very
next
much.
webinar.
All right, thank you,
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody.
Bye. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Very nice.